Okay, we are again in Tosfos Hamoneach. We on Daf Chav Zayin Amid Aleph, and we are now doing the third part of Tosfos. The third part of Tosfos is a kasha, and he gives an answer. Actually, he gives two answers. Okay, so let's focus in on this to begin with. Now, Tosfos' question really starts from another case that we find in Baba Basra. The case of Baba Basra is as follows. What happens if a man is selling an ox with a yoke? Okay? So the Gemara says if a man sells the ox, he's not selling the yoke. And if he sells the yoke, he's not selling the ox. So on this is a machlokas. Reb Yehuda comes along and says over there, you know why they're not sold with each other? Because you could tell from the price. You know, if an ox is $200 and a yoke is $50. So if I'm selling you a yoke for $50, you know it's not coming with the ox. Or vice versa, if I'm selling you an ox for $200, then you know it's not coming with a yoke, which is another $50. It would be $250. So according to Reb Yehuda, Adam and Modium, you could tell from the price, one and not the other. However, the Chachamim over there, they say that the money is not a raya. Ein Adam and raya, those are the words it uses, means you really can't tell from the money. So, based on this Gemara, based on the Chachamim, that the Chachamim, and Reb Yehuda is saying, could you tell from the money or not? So Tosfos has a kasha in our Gemara. So Tosfos' kasha is again. Now, in this Gemara, before we actually say the question, I just want you to know there are three very common abbreviations. The fourth is not as common, but first is Vav Aleph Taf, which stands for V'im Toma. Tosfos uses this phrase when he wants to ask a lower level question. It's a simple question. It's a good question. If he wants to ask a harder question, or a very harder question is Vakasha, and a very hard question is Vatema. Vatema means like a wonder. Okay, but V'im Toma is a lower level question. Then you have Beis Ayin Hey, which is Be'ezus Hashem. Vav Yesh V'yesh Loma. Vav Yud Lamed is V'yesh Loma. It's always an answer. That's Tosfos' answer. And then Aleph Nun is Nami, or else. I'll give you another answer. Sometimes it could be another question. Okay. So Tosfos' question is like this in our Gemara. Our Gemara is saying like this. The guy says, look, I want to buy a chavis, and I'm giving you, let's say, $100 for a chavis. And the seller says, here's your chavis, and he hands me a little jug, a cod for $20. So what do you mean, $20? I gave you $100. The jug is only worth $20. So V'im Toma, I'll ask you a question. V'nechse means let us see. V'nechse means let us see. Let us see. V'nechse, let us see. Deme kada. What is the price of the cod? Deme chavisa, or the price of a barrel. Is it $20 or $100? You could tell. I gave you $100. You mean I mean a chavis? What do you mean you say you call a chavis a cod, but I gave you $100? Means I wanted a chavis. Kida parach, also a very common word. Like we ask. Kida parach, like we ask. Lekaman, we mentioned this later on as well. Lekaman. Lekaman, like we see later on. Kida parach lekaman, like we see later on. Bereish hapara, in the beginning of Perak hapara. Over there, we mentioned before. Uva hamocher peros, and also in Baba Basra. In the Perak of Hamocher peros, it says also v'nechse, let us see, v'nechse again, let us see um, I'm sorry, E deme rajia, the rajia. In other words, if I gave you the price of a ox that is plows, okay, if I'm giving you an ox that plows, if that's what I'm charging you, then I should get it. In other words, if I'm selling you an ox that's wild, so let's say an ox that's wild will cost $200, but an ox that could plow with Laraja, that's a $300 ox. I could do more with it. It's a higher price. So if I gave you $300, why can't that be enough of a proof that I wanted an ox? I wanted a rajya. I wanted an ox that plows. Now, Visham, Efresh, and over there, Visham means there. Efresh, I will explain, be Ezra's Hashem, with Hashem's help. The afilu, that even l'Rabbanan, even according to the rabbis, the Rabbanan, the pligi is a very common word, the pligi that argues, even according to the Rabbanan, that argues a Rebbe Yehuda on Rebbe Yehuda ba'mocher es asfina, over there in the Gemara of Hamoneach es asfina, Gabi mecher hatzemed lo bakar, that in the case where I told you where he sells the plow and he does not sell the bakar, even though the Rabbanan over there argue, the less lahu adam and modim, you can't tell from the money. So even though he's charging him $200, he really wants both. Nevertheless, over here it's parach. Over here, the Chachamim would agree that the money should make a difference. How come over there it doesn't? So that we'll learn over there. But over here, Tosfos is learning that both Rebbe Yehuda and the Chachamim would agree that the money should make a difference. Okay, so Tosfos is going to answer. Yesh Lama, Tosfos answers, the lo shaycha hacha. You see, this is different than over there. There, a plow is, let's say, worth $50, and an ox is worth $200. There's a big difference. Hodas damim, however, over there, there's a big difference. However, hacha, again, hacha is a crucial word. The word hacha is all the time. You have that. The word hacha here, when we say here, we're talking about the case of us. But okay, here, by kad and chavis, right here by kad and chavis. So, hodaz damim, the amount of the money, the krovim, that they're close. So I said before it was $120. It may not be that big of a difference. A jug is 20 and a barrel is 25, 28. Maybe you could spend that much on a jug, and sometimes you can get a barrel for cheaper. So even though over there there's a very big difference, here there's not such a big difference between the jug and the chavis. The krovim means, the word krovim means that they're close, that the jug and the jug and the barrel are close in price. The krovim dummy, the price is close of the kad l'demei chavis. Aleph nun inami, or else we'll give you a second answer. This is an interesting answer. Shemachalo kadem chavis shava masayim zos. You're selling him a jug or a chavis worth $200. In other words, what I'm doing is, shava means worth. Shava means the value of, or the worth. Okay, which means the case is as follows. Let's say I say, look, here's $200. Give me, let's just take that example. That would be a great example. Let's say a jug is $20 and a barrel is $50, right? So if a jug is $20 and a barrel is $50, so I go ahead and I give you $200. If I'm giving you $200, so what happens is I'm really, and I say I want a chavis. I want chavis is worth $200. So I'm really expecting 4 jugs, 4 barrels, and you instead want to give me 10 jugs. So yes, it is a big difference, and nobody would get the price mixed up. But here we're talking about where I gave us $200. Give me $200 worth of chavis. So I am expecting $200 worth of 50, of chavises. I'm expecting 4, and you give me a pack of 10. So that's what the answer is. So again, the question is how come you can't just simple tell from the price? A chavis is more than a cod. If I'm giving you $50, I want a chavis. If I'm giving you 20, I want a cod. Why can't that be the proof? And to this, Tosfos either gives one answer is that it's really not 50-20, it's maybe 20-25. That's the first answer. And the second answer is no, it could be that it's 50 and 20. But the seller gave to the buyer like $200, and he says, give me as many chavises for $200. He's expecting about $50 each. I'm expecting 4 big barrels. And the buyer and the seller he thinks chavisa, that means cod. $20 each, I'll give him 10.